Where were we? Good evening, everybody. It's System Chalk here with the, I think, 82nd episode of the Apostle Obsonate playthrough as Ike Upscribe. So, if I recall correctly, we were struggling a little bit with our expeditions. We've actually stopped them for the time being, but then I seem to be doing better at kind of covering my costs through painting. So the one question I kind of have right now looking at the board is why, and I know some of you have just watched this in a big playlist, so you're like, how could you forget? It's been a while. But I'm wondering why I haven't just gone to the Lone and Level Sands. I know we were looking to take our last journeys. So we've got Maya. There's going to be one more set of expeditions for us to go on. But it seems to me, especially with the Maid in the Mirror getting ready to expire, so we've got the painting going, we're repairing the mirror, we're studying the histories, we've got Explore open, we've got Heal. So if I wanted, I suppose I could try and sell off some of these items. The Iron Spintrea and the books would be sort of my main source of cash. And the question is it worth it for me to lose the Maid in the Mirror? Or is it worth it for me to, take the plunge, try and get at least one of the Lone and Level Sands done, and move forward with that? I think what I'm going to do is I will go to the Temple of the Seven Coils. And the main reason for that is it'll give me an idea in terms of what the actual costs are going to be for these expeditions. And at that point, I'm going to be able to make an informed decision about whether or not I have enough gas in the tank to be able to take me through. So, Temple of the Seven Coils, a crumbling temple in a shadowed defile. It was built, it seems, in the Third History, the one where much later the worms overran Europe, but it exists in all the histories now. So, Callagine and Maid in the Mirror, we don't have evidence to get rid of, I believe. So we'll toss a couple of funds to see what else is in the list here. The site will tolerate no life, says the journal of Zane Mark Gentis, so we will find no serpents there. But the place sounds cursed, and Gentis recorded a door that his expedition could not open. Expeditions need at least one funds per obstacle. Followers will defeat obstacles. If you run out of funds or followers, the expedition ends. So I suspect we'll need at least 3 funds, possibly 4. And given that it says that the door is hard to open, I would assume it's knock or forge. So and the reference to the dead makes me think that the Maid in the Mirror and the Callagine will be helpful here. That's also good because it means that only one Winter or Forge disciple would be required, if so. If I've got it wrong, then Enid and Neville need to get thrown in right away. And we'll do a little bit better than we did last time, because I know I really messed up the ordering of the people who I sent in. So we'll begin the expedition, and the Creeping Breath Curse is still dormant. I wish I knew what the what the penalty for it was, but we'll find out. We'll likely be hit by the effect. I very rarely have been able to overcome the curses once they become a factor. Into the night, wisdom is a country, and these are its maps. Okay, competent work. My recent work has accrued modest fame. My paintings have reviewed well, so we do have a staleness that we need to deal with. But we are doing okay for money. We're actually ahead, even though we went on the expedition. So it pains me to do this because I'd like to do some. I would like to do some commission work. But for the time being, I think it would be good for me to continue making money and trying to get that staleness down. So this time, I'm going to throw 3 passion at it. I will use a little bit of my reputation. I'll hang on to that 6-second one, and we will use erudition as the mood. It's a painting about how clever I am. A particular friend, now is the time to renew our connection. I am alone, but there is peace in that also, so we're doing okay for contentment. We don't really have any dread to worry about. The dread actually helped us with visions abate, shadows are shelter from light, despair is ballast, even misery has its uses. And we do have another season of visions coming up, so I want to be a little careful on the fascination, but I think we should be able to handle it. Alright, the sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. And this time I think I will put the money towards the paints. We can afford it. All right, this is a puzzle with missing pieces. I might find those pieces in odd corners of scholarship. So I believe for this one we are also going to need the fascination. So I was taking a little bit of a chance that I'd be able to pull it off. In this case we won't, because I don't want to generate the fascination for the Season of Visions, but we have the option later. All right, so our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send in other followers. So the warded door, an engineer or an adept has ensured that this door will not open easily. Forge or knock will defeat it. So we're okay there. Desolation, an immense and tawny furnace barely contained by its horizons. At night, chilly wilderness of stars. We must go carefully with Forge to shape our way, or Grail to secure us against thirst. So that means Forge is pretty much that'll take us through 2 of the challenges. Finally, the worms in the world. We need lantern or moth to suppress this curse. Otherwise, it will not keep us from our goal, but it may trouble us later. So one of the first things that I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take Pope Clifton and add them to the expedition. And the reason for this is that the other 2 challenges only require a Forge disciple to be added. In fact, I only need 2 Forge, so if I had a lantern follower that had Forge, it would be sufficient to add them as well. But in this particular case here, once Pope Clifton has been added, it doesn't matter what challenge comes up. I know that 1 card will help overcome it, and that was the problem that I ran into in the previous expedition that I did. Now, let's also take the time to go to the Peacock store. Now, I forgot I did have a bit of a pattern in terms of jumping between the Worm Museum and the church. I believe I should be going to the church next, but I will confess I try not to watch the videos because I actually find it a little hard to hear my own voice, but that has consequences. All right, my follower is at work on the mirror. And the dry road. We are practical souls, strong in Forge. We should be able to make it between the baking rocks for the green places. Or sorry, to the green places. So Valsini is the only one who we really have left. This is actually kind of convenient too, because Valsini added to the winter. Although I think we already had 10 winter. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. In this case, it takes us over the edge. Our Forge skills should keep us safe and lead us through the baking rocks to the green places. We'll almost certainly be fine. Okay, lots of goodies. So, more reputation. Decent payday as well. We obviously put money towards it, so that's a net of 2, but can't complain about it. We also got rid of a staleness, so we're going to do the exact same thing again. Again, the risk that I'm running here is that I am potentially starving myself of bronze spintrea to fix my mirrors. But in this case here, I would like to make a painting about my happiness. In this case, I would like to be able to keep the funds rolling, be able to pay for those expeditions. Okay, Season of Ambitions coming up. We've got 300 left on the blood, so that's probably going to wind up turning into dread unless I do something else. But for now, we'll just, we'll keep going the way we have. Mirrors are paired. It shines again as it did once before. And we will put money into the painting. Now I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to do. Probably some burglary wouldn't be a bad idea. So I know we're not too worried about any knock at the moment. Yeah, so let's get Enid out to get me a little more money. My disciple can probably use their talents to harvest treasures from the unsuspecting. Okay, so here we want a glimmering, which we have plenty of. Actually, I'll use one of the expired. Well, they're all expiring, but... Okay, and I don't want the under other circumstances, I would actually want the fascination, but here we're going to go to the Red Church. And we have an incardescence. The very air is succulent with possibility. Pierce it, and it might be. When one dreams of the Red Church, one When one dreams of the Red Church, one hears the voices of the Grail's names, the Thirstleys and the Ivories and the Lovelies and the rest. Not all the Impalzi are women, they might be heard to say. The hungers of women run no deeper than the hungers of men, but a mother is never far from her child at its birth, and that is not always true of the father. Come closer, and we will show you what we mean. Okay, so we've got the cracked watchman's glass. We'll have to repair that, but we've got the talk verb taken up right now. I'm trying to think if there's any advantage to me trying to get any other... trying to get anything else from the stag door. We don't have anything we can use. Well, okay, we have something we can use in the spider door, but I don't want to use it. So we'll leave the dream slot open for now. I might change the... Oh no, hang on, I've got the Wild Ring Mirror. Alright, the world goes away, hopefully removing the staleness. Although we've been doing okay, you know, for staleness we've made some decent money off of the paintings. Exceptional work. Right. I did pay attention to the expedition. The sun is setting. We look back across the desolation we crossed, and at all the colors it assumes in the evening light. Night falls, stars prickle. The wind presses cold hands to our faces. Onwards. So we have the funds now, and the next edition... the next edition should be a lantern follower after the money. Right, my recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. So, let's take a look. We've got more mystique, contentment. Contentment breeds contentment. And all my passions just lying out there on the table. Okay, not too much as far as money, and more importantly, we really just made our... We just kind of got the materials back in terms of price. So I'm going to wait the 2 seconds to get the passion back, and we're going to have to tilt at the windmill one more time. So the reason I'm using this 2.4 second notoriety is the same reason that I always do this, which is the threat in a season of suspicion basically is your youngest notoriety card. So we've got 180 and we've got 170. Yeah, so essentially I've got 3 minutes where I can potentially get pinched. I mean, in this case, it's just going to be a bit of evidence. So in this sense here, you know, having something that's 2.4 seconds, that will only last 2.4 seconds on the table is not actually that big of a problem. If I were to paint with the 180 second notoriety, then that just extends that for another minute while all the other things potentially expire. So in this case, it's just a nice little way. You know, there are other times where maybe you want to mess around a little bit. Maybe you want to keep something on the table longer or shorter. It always depends on the circumstances. But in this particular case here, I wanted to just do a set of choices that would lead me to have either the threat be present and have to deal with it, or to have it completely eliminated and just not have to worry about it anymore. And obviously we've been trying to collect as much notoriety as we can so that we can get rid of it when we move headquarters. Right. In cellars and attics, in secret compartments and sealed closets, the rich and not so rich conceal their treasures. And the envelope has arrived from our delight. It's going to last 234 seconds, but our Saber's Blood lasts 290, which means that we either need to sell this or we need to move elsewhere. Now, if I can somehow generate fascination, I can use this for the challenge, and we do not have a Season of Visions coming up, so now would be a good time to do that. It is a little bit of a roll of the dice, though. So we'll almost certainly shatter this warded door. We can add Cat Caro. Technically, I don't need to add it until the challenge actually comes up, but now I can just sort of set it and forget it as far as the expedition is concerned. Okay, there's a Splendor. That will decay into Fascination, but that's not helpful to me right now, so we'll go to the Red Church again. Alright, so Vagabond's map was in the Worm Museum. There's two possibilities there. Either my plan of alternating between the Worm Museum and the Red Church doesn't really apply, or I misjudged it. And unless I'm going to start keeping notes between episodes, I'm really not going to be able to know the difference. In this case, I'll still probably go back to the Red Church each time. But we will eventually build ourselves up to a point where we can do those expeditions no matter what. Okay, each of the stained glass windows of the Red Church is devoted to a distinct appetite, and the scenes that they show are from life. Last night, in one of the uglier windows, I saw the appetites of a certain public figure satisfied in private. I know he won't want this information made public. Perhaps he will show me some consideration. I've always wondered if I can do more with the favor from authority. It's just I've never actually wanted to try because I'm using all of my other verbs for other things. So I'm pretty much counting on not having fascination ready for this. Nope. There it is. So the creeping breath curse begins with a cough that loiters in one's throat like a debt collector. So we'll see what we can do about that. Followers has returned with their haul. So I'm interested in seeing what we get out of this. So obviously we get notoriety. Enid's come back. Well then, that is actually a fairly profitable way to spend the time. How much do I want to keep risking it? Well, we're generating a notoriety anyway from the expedition, and that's going to be... Yeah, so you know what? I should actually keep stealing stuff for as long as we're going on that expedition. So, send Enid back. I should probably be fixing the mirrors, but at the moment here, getting a little extra money is not the worst choice. Alright, this is something special. It may provoke a reaction. Again, more mystique. I do like generating this mystique because it does keep the Suppression Bureau off my case. Potentially, anyway. So again, all my precious passion just laid out there. We still have the staleness, sadly. But we did make a little money out of that. So I think the usual approach works here. Take the passion, take what's left of the notoriety. Do a painting of the favor of authority. Let's do the fleeting reminiscence this time. Actually, you know what? Let's do a portrait. Hopefully Rhaenyra will make me some money. This would have actually been a good time to do the Grail painting as well, but I have a few other priorities at the moment. Okay, so we'll spend the money on the paints. Balked! My studies have been stymied for now. Okay, so that's a pair of Vagabond's maps, which we can upgrade as soon as we have a fascination. The expedition continues. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It will consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send another follower. So we've already got our 10 lantern. We really have everything that we need to move ahead. And I don't have anything in the study verb right now. I guess that's because there's really nothing for me to do in the study verb right now, so we will just let that go. So normally I would be looking for either like a glimmering or a passion. I suppose I can use my health, just in case I need the vitality. I have created something distinctive and beautiful. It will very likely enhance my reputation. Alright, so we did wind up... oh, this is interesting. Okay, so I wasn't expecting to generate the mystique, but there it is. And in this particular case, I can put that directly towards the lore upgrade. So, good work. Rhaenyra is not even a moth follower. But we're still stale. Alright, well, again, we'll give it a little time. Put the notoriety in. And I will let... Let's Lee be the subject. Alright, the sun in rags lends lantern light. It will almost certainly end this curse here. Oh, here we go. The creeping breath curse, a last chance. The curse has taken hold. Now the life pulse slows. The curse is no ordinary sickness, but with enough heart influence, it will be possible to turn it aside. Well, sadly, we don't have the heart influence. So this is one of the biggest challenges that I've run into with the curse, is that unless you know what you need to overcome the curse, I just don't see a situation in which you are able to generate the influence that you need. So for instance, in this case, the curse needs either... So an imminence, I believe, is the top letter. Yeah, that's 15th order heart. Or 10th order heart. So I believe those are available through the spider door. Actually, I don't think you get heart in the peacock door. So I think you just get that through the peacock door. And again, the ability to get, if you don't know that you need the heart right away, I don't believe there is a way that you can actually generate it in the time that you need. Which, you know, fair enough. Maybe it is intended that you're supposed to only know that through playing the game. But of course, I've had to deal with curses so infrequently that I really just don't have the presence of mind to deal with it. Okay, we will pay for paints again. I think we've still been generating more money than we spent, so I'm happy with that. And my follower has returned with their haul, so more notoriety. I do want to be a little careful because we are going to have evidence against us soon, but in this case we made even more money. So I know I'm putting my knock follower at risk doing this, but burglary is pretty profitable. Oh. The curse clings. There is a price to be paid when one trespasses in a place like this. Someday soon, the curse will tighten around us. And guidance from our delight. A courier has arrived from our delight with a single vial of their most holy blood. I've neglected my studies, but I stand a little straighter. So we'll see whether or not that vitality can help me out in the presence of our curses. We do have some fascination that's about to expire, so let's study the histories again, and we will use the fascination. The good news is that we have a fleeting reminiscence, and we will also have some dread to quiet it if it becomes a problem. Okay, each breath we take in this life is weaker than the last until we come to the final breath of all. The process is so slow as to be imperceptible until one is touched by the creeping breath curse. So we now have decrepitude. Some wounds never quite heal. Untreated injuries and hunger become decrepitude, which does not return to health. Decrepitude remains until you die. Not entirely true, actually. So we will see how to deal with decrepitude a little bit later. But we have actually run out of our time together. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you are enjoying the series or you would like to otherwise show your support to the video, feel free to leave a like or a comment. I do read all of the comments and I really appreciate them when you do. I know some of you like to keep quiet, but every once in a while I do see a nice hello, especially from those of you who don't normally talk on YouTube. The effort is definitely appreciated. And of course, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, that also helps me out. It keeps you informed about what's going on. There is a notification bell, which will let you know when a new video is up. But until next time, I hope you have a good evening, and I will see you all Friday when the next video comes up, 6:30 Eastern Time. Have a good one.